you had a wonderful week. It's been about a week since we last chatted, so I just want to check in, see how is everyone doing. How's your week been? What's been happening? Tonight we're going to be talking about 5 of my favorite herbs that are helpful for boosting energy. So I'm not too sure if you are familiar with herbs or if you've ever used herbs before, but they are pretty powerful substances, and there are many different benefits that they have. So I'm going to be picking out different ones tonight that are my 5 favorite ones that I like using for helping when you have fatigue, if you're feeling burnt out and tired and you need a bit of a boost of energy. So we'll be going over that. Before we jump in, I just want to know if anybody has used any herbs. Which herbs have you used? Have you used any for energy? Or maybe you've used herbs for other reasons. Some things that you can use herbs for, like we've talked about in the past, are herbs for your gut, so for helping with any gut issues. You can use herbs for joint pain, for inflammation, like curcumin, which is turmeric. That's a good one. So let me know if you've used any herbs. What's your, what's your take on herbs? Do you like them? Do you find them effective? Have you ever grown your own herbs maybe? So let me know. And then we'll kind of talk about these herbs that I'm talking about. All right, so I started up the chat, so you can ask me any questions. Feel free to just jump in the chat at any time and ask me any of these questions. All right, so hi, hello. Rosemary and basil, those are nice herbs. So those herbs can also be good for cooking herbs. So rosemary is good for cooking, but also can be used as herb in terms of you can use rosemary oil topically. That can help with your hair growth. So that, like, herbs have so many different properties. Basil, I'm going to be talking about a type of basil. It's not like the cooking basil, it's a bit different, but I'll be talking about one of those tonight. No, never used herbs except to eat. Yep, so you are using some herbs that way. Fennel tea, so fennel tea is a nice, good, calming herb for the gut. So yeah, keep the chat open. Let me know if you have any questions about any herbs. Let me know what herbs you like, which ones you use, and I'll get started. So the first one I'm going to be talking about, this one is called ashwagandha. I'm not too sure if you've heard about this one, but it is a pretty popular herb. And this herb is good for if you are tired, but you have that tired but wired feeling. So that's like if you're feeling pretty fatigued and tired, but then you kind of still feel like your body's racing, you can't really shut off, your mind's racing a little bit too, difficulty with falling asleep. So this is the herb for you if that's what you're experiencing. So it's good for anxiousness, it's good for if you have difficulty sleeping, as I mentioned, it can help with that. It can also be helpful for any sort of muscle fatigue too. So if you have fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome, so those are 2 pretty broad syndromes. If you have either of those, then ashwagandha is a good herb for that. So in terms of, I'll kind of talk about the herbs tonight and if they're more stimulating or if they're more like the calming. Because keep in mind, if you are burnt out and exhausted, if you have something, what is called like adrenal fatigue, where you're pretty exhausted and your cortisol is just like depleted, then you have to see if you need something that's a bit more calming or a bit more stimulating. So typically, if you have higher cortisol, where you're more in that like fight or flight stage, you might need something a bit more calming, because something too stimulating might not be good for you. Whereas if you're pretty exhausted and you're depleted your cortisol, you have low cortisol, you might need something a bit more nourishing, a bit more stimulating. So that's just a little note, just something to keep in mind. And that's why it's so important to always talk with your healthcare provider before starting any new herbs. You might not know which one's best for you, but I'm going to try to do my best to guide you in which one you can try. So back to ashwagandha. This one, as I was kind of saying, either stimulating or nourishing. This one's more of a soothing and calming, nourishing one, but it can also be a little bit of a gentle stimulation. So this one's good for that because it can help with that exhaustion, it can help with that fatigue, but it can also help calm down the nervous system. So as I was saying, it can be helpful for like chronic fatigue, arthritis as well. It helps with joint fatigue as well. And then it's also helpful for thyroid issues. So if you have an underactive thyroid, this is a good one for that. So that's ashwagandha. As I was saying, that one's a good for like that tired but wired feeling if you have difficulty sleeping and you're anxious. So let me know, has anybody tried ashwagandha? Let me know in the comments. I haven't tried it on its own, but I've tried it in a combination with a few different ones. So that's also something you can do too. You can try these herbs in a combination together if you find one, if you like a couple of them. Okay, the next one I'm going to go on to is called licorice root. So this one is good if you are extremely exhausted, if you have lightheadedness, and if you're very stressed. So this is one of those ones that's very nourishing in terms of helping with cortisol, but it's a pretty stimulating one. So our adrenal glands, I'll just kind of talk about this a little bit. Our adrenal glands are these little glands that are on top of our kidneys, and those are what release the cortisol. So something like licorice root is very nourishing for the adrenal glands. It can help when we have depleted our cortisol. So it's helpful for regulating cortisol, and it's also helpful for the immune system. So this is a good one if you feel like you're very exhausted, very burnt out. You have that like kind of lightheadedness, difficulty concentrating too, and it can help with improving your immune system. So for this one, don't take this one if you have high blood pressure. It can just slightly raise blood pressure, so I would avoid that one. Or you can, if you want to take it, just make sure you're, talking with your medical doctor or healthcare provider. But I would just try to avoid it if you do have high blood pressure. Choose one of the other ones. And then it also can be helpful for the gut. In some of these herbs, you'll see that they can be helpful for many different things. So this one's also helpful for the gut. But usually when you take licorice root for the gut, in terms of like licorice tablets, it's called DGL, which means that it takes away that part that can raise blood pressure that I was kind of mentioning. So you'll see that it's different forms of licorice. So that one can be helpful for the gut, but it doesn't cause the effect of raising the blood pressure if it's the DGL. So that's just something to know that. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about either ashwagandha or licorice before we move on to the next, and I'll see if there's any in the chat. Okay, so there's a question, how do you take ashwagandha? So all of these herbs that I'm mentioning, there's different ways to take herbs. You can take them in a tincture form, which is a liquid extract. You can take them in a capsule form. You can have them as a tea, or you can even have them as a stronger boiled down tea, which is called like a decoction. So something like a licorice root is good for doing something like that, where you just have it cooking for a longer amount of time. But most of them, so for example, ashwagandha, you can get that in I would say the best way to be getting that one is either through the tincture form or the tablet form. So either of those, whatever you prefer. Just take it as directed on the label, because different brands have different doses, so it's hard for me to say what, depending on how much is in each tablet or in each drop. But the best thing to do, take it as directed on the label. Some people enjoy taking it in the liquid form, like the tincture form, because it's, not an extra tablet that you have to take or an extra capsule. You just mix it in a little bit of water and take that. Or if some people find it easier to take the tablet or the capsule, because it's easier to kind of take with you if you forget. So that's that. And I have tried licorice root. Nice. So yeah, licorice root is a good one. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the next one, and if you haven't done so already, just make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, so that way you can be notified every time I go live, and you can just join our community and have these wonderful chats together. Okay, So the next one I'm going to go into is called Siberian Ginseng, which is also, it's like Latin name is Eleuthero, because there's different ginseng. So this one's Siberian Ginseng. This is good if you, so this is good for you if you have like brain fog and mental fatigue, and you need more mental alertness. If you have a low immunity, so a weaker immune system, if you're just kind of feeling tired and run down, this is a good one for you. And this is a stimulating one. So the first one I was talking about, ashwagandha, is more of like a calming one, more nourishing, slightly stimulating. Licorice was pretty stimulating, and then this one's also a stimulating one. So just to keep that in mind. It's helpful for increasing stamina, for increasing both mental and physical performance. So when you exercise, it can help reduce stress. So it's a good one if you study a lot and you're stressed out, or if you have a stressful job. It's a good one for that. Pretty much this one, like I said, it was pretty stimulating. So you don't want to take this one if you have insomnia. You're going to want to take one of more of the calming ones. But this is a great one for that, like kind of overall body exhaustion, depletion, that brain fog, and decreased mental and physical performance. Then you're going to want to take Siberian Ginseng. So this is a good one. All right, let's move into the next one. And this one is a pretty nice one. I like this one. This one's called Holy Basil. It's also known as Tulsi. So this is a really good one because it's one of those more nourishing, calming ones. If you need an overall just like gentle tonic for helping with your mood, for helping with your mental health, for helping with your immune system, to promote some mental clarity, this is a really good one to do that. It improves energy, it relieves stress, it relieves fatigue. It's helpful for insomnia as well. So it's a good one. What else can this one do? It also helps with motivation. So it has been shown to help increase motivation. So it's this one's very good, like a mental one. It also is helpful for cholesterol issues, blood glucose issues, abdominal fat area. It's also been helpful for that. So it's a pretty good one. It's got an overall like many different abilities in it. It's really good. I'm not sure, has anybody tried Holy Basil or Tulsi? You can even find a lot of Tulsi lavender teas, but that's not going to be as strong as like if you were to take this one either in a capsule form or the tincture form. I would recommend to get its best benefits. This one would be better to take that. So it's a really good one. Yeah, I like Tulsi. That's a good one. All right. Let me see if there's any other questions. I have a brain fog on Monday morning. Yeah, so there can be many reasons why maybe you're having brain fog, especially on a Monday morning. It's after the weekend, you wake up. But something like having something like this could be helpful if you were to have it kind of on a Monday. Maybe you can have it from Monday to Friday, give yourself a break on the weekend. These kind of herbs do take some time to work. They should work within about 1 to 2 weeks. They're pretty good, and like I said, they work on the adrenal glands. They're called adaptogen herbs, so that means that they help your body buffer stress, help your body buffer immunity, help with the nervous system, so they're great for that. So it is definitely something you can try to see which one you like. Of course, just make sure you don't have any medication interactions, so always talk with your doctor before you try any of these. But they're generally pretty safe herbs as long as you're not really taking anything else, because there can be interactions with many different medications. You have to be careful with that. Is it hard to get? No, it's not. Like you can pretty much find these at health food stores. Yeah, pretty much health food stores or other clinics. Like I work at naturopathic clinics and we carry these, so it's pretty easy to get these kind of things there. These ones aren't too challenging, the ones I'm mentioning. Yeah, they're pretty commonly used adaptogenic herbs. Never tried them. How do you spell these? Sure, I can write them out for you, and then I'll move on to the last one. So there's Ashwagandha, Licorice, Siberian Ginseng, what was the one? Holy basil. And then I'm just going to write down the last one that I'm talking about. Okay, so those are the 5 herbs I'm talking about. So that's how you spell them. Okay, so I'll just go into the last one. The last one is called rhodiola. This is a pretty commonly used herb, a commonly used adaptogenic herb. And this one is good for if you're feeling irritable, and if you're burnt out, and if you have anxiety. So it's a good one for that. So it is kind of a stimulating one, but it's more of a gentle stimulating, not super stimulating like some of the ginseng. So it is a good one. It can still be used in anxiety. Pretty much most people should feel okay on it. There's maybe a few people that might have a paradoxical reaction where they get anxious from it. So just note that with any herb, you might have a different side effect from it, but that's something that could happen with rhodiola. But typically for most people it's fine. It's good for anxiety, for that burned out feeling. It helps with regulating your mood. It supports your nervous system. It can help with sleep, overall improving your energy. So it's a pretty good one, rhodiola. So yeah, that's a good one to use. Like also if you're overworked, in terms of like if you're a student where you have a lot of exams, or if your job just is pretty draining or overworking, rhodiola is a good one. So that's number 5. So I'll just recap them for you. Number 1 was ashwagandha. This one's a gentle stimulating. It's a calming and nourishing one. It's good if you have that like tired but wired feeling. Licorice was good if you're very, very exhausted, if you're very like lightheaded and very stressed out. It nourishes your adrenal glands. It's a stimulating one. Then there's Siberian Ginseng. This one was another good stimulating one. It's good for that like mental clarity, mental alertness, with stamina, physical fatigue as well. Then there's holy basil. So that one that had many different things that it was helpful for, like pretty gentle, good for your mind, your mood, helped with many other things like stress, mental alertness, helping with abdominal weight, cholesterol, and glucose. And then rhodiola was the last one I talked about. So this one's good for a anxiety, irritable, burnt out feeling. So out of these 5, I want to know from everyone that's watching that wants to participate, which one do you think is the best one for you? If you need me to recap, I can, but let me know which one do you think would be the best for you. Is it better to have licorice raw or as a supplement? It's better for these kind of purposes, it's better to take it as the supplement. That way it's like extracted. The raw licorice isn't like gonna really get you these benefits. Pumpkins gone and your plants are back. Yes, my plants are back. Welcome back to my plants. I will be changing them up maybe closer to the holidays to something more festive. Yes, nice cactuses, thanks. So I need rhodiola. Yep, so rhodiola is a good one. That one, like I was saying, for anxiety, stress, burnout. Let me know what other ones, anybody else, which one you think is going to be helpful for you. There's many different herbs. I just chose these 5, but there's other ones that are also helpful for energy, like the one I chose, the ginseng. There's other types of ginsengs. There's even things like reishi. Reishi is a good one. That's more of a mushroom, good for immunity too. Because you'll find that I mentioned immunity a lot today, and that's because when you are really stressed out, when you have a cortisol dysregulation, that really does impact your immunity and your immune system. So having something like an adaptogen to help with not only stress but help with your immunity is helpful. Siberian Ginseng for me, nice. That's a good one. Would it be too strong of an effect to take rhodiola and ashwagandha at the same time? No, a lot. So there are ready formulated supplements that have a blend of different herbs. So you could find one of those and see which one it is. You just have to always be careful. If you're taking them like on their own, maybe don't take them at their maximum dose. If like you bought ashwagandha supplements and then rhodiola supplements, maybe don't take them at their most effective dose. Take them a little bit less because the combination will kind of give you a synergy of effects. So when you take something that's ready formulated in a capsule or in a tincture that has a blend of different ones, they kind of take that into consideration. But definitely there are blends of already blends of herbs that have these in them. So yeah, good question. But yeah, you can take them together. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to have a little quick chat to let you know some of these herbs that can be helpful for energy. But of course, it's always good and important to get to what the root cause of your fatigue is or what the root cause of your exhaustion is. If you take these, but then you still go on with the same lifestyle that you have, so if you're working like 10 plus hours a day, or if you have many different events to go to, if you're always busy and doing something and you don't give yourself that time to kind of rest and recharge, then these are really kind of just band-aids and masking the problem. So I think that having those kind of things addressed, and then having this if you need it, if you there's always that, like, your body might need a little boost of energy. If you've really depleted your energy stores, if you depleted your cortisol, then yes, you might need something. But just keep in mind, it's important to get to what the root cause of your issue is. And if you are really fatigued all the time, it can be due to other things. It can be due to having like a low iron or a poor thyroid function or an overactive thyroid or a vitamin deficiency. There's so many things that can play a role in energy. But I just wanted to kind of talk about some of these herbs that can be helpful, especially around this time of year with weather changing, holidays coming up. People have lots of things going on. Maybe you need a little boost of energy or immunity. So, yeah. I think the ashwagandha to reduce stress, nice. Yeah, that one is a good one. Nice calming one. So with the ones that I talked about that are stimulating, you never want to take them like in the afternoon, even just like take them in the morning or by 12 o'clock, because if you take them too late, they can be too stimulating. But something like ashwagandha or holy basil, those ones are more gentle, more calming. So those ones are okay to take in the afternoon kind of thing. All right. So if you have any other questions, I'll leave it open for the next few minutes. If not, we will then wrap up and I'll see you all next week, but I'll just let you ask any other questions for tonight. And thank you all for joining me and participating. So nice to hear what your questions are, what you have to say, and it's helpful and it gives me good feedback. Yeah. Yes, they do. So the question is, do they come in pills? Yes. So like I was saying, you can get them in capsule forms. So that's like the pill form, or the liquid form, which is the tincture extract for form. So whatever you prefer. Some things do better in like as teas and stuff like that too. So something like licorice root does pretty good as a tea. But the other ones, pretty much you want to either get them in the capsules or in the tincture form. So tincture is basically the liquid extract. Are herbs good for skincare? So that's some herbs that are good can be good for skincare, and that would be more so herbs that help with detoxification, help with your liver, help with cleansing the blood. Those are the kind of herbs that you could take internally that can help with your skin. So helping with improving circulation and improving digestion, because that has a big role in your skin, improving like lymphatic and all of that. And then topically, herbs can be helpful too. Like there can be things that help with soothing irritated skin. I mean, this is a whole another topic, but yeah, if there are herbs that can be helpful for skin too. So like I said, soothing things that you can take internally to helping with your liver, because your liver is important for detoxifying anything. So yeah, good questions. Maybe we'll do a skin video once in the future. All right, I'll just give it a minute, but it seems like those are most of the questions for tonight. Yeah. Awesome stream. Dr. Amanda, thank you for the helpful tips. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks for participating and attending the stream. All right, let's just give everybody else a minute, but I think that's it for tonight. So thanks everybody for joining. I hope you found something helpful from this stream, and that maybe you can try one of these herbs if you think it would be helpful for you. And you can always let me know if you end up trying it, and if it was helpful, we can talk about it again, next week. Just remember, give things some time. It might take some time for herbal medicine to work. It's not always like super quick when it works, but yeah. I think that's it for tonight then. So if you haven't any other questions, then we'll just end the stream. Thanks for joining. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and then I will see you all next week when we can talk more health topics.